reached 2 million registered users on SABC Plus. Imagine if each user just gave me R1. Just R1 each. I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many problems will be solved. But we are so grateful that the public is supporting SABC Plus and the work that we're doing, making sure that we are reaching, everybody. We are no longer limiting our African content to just South Africa. We're not just limiting it to us. We're limiting it to giving it to Africa. Why is English escaping me? What's going on? I think it's also because I'm seeing so many insane numbers. I mean, we're talking about 200 million views watched, more than 111 million individual viewing sessions, and close to 87 million hours of content consumed. All I'm saying is, can each user just come together and give the presenters R1 each, please, okay? Just as a last day Valentine's Day gift. So, for me, February, the month of February, it representing love, I think was very, very significant because African love is something that I think us as young people are still trying to navigate, especially because there's a whole new element to it, right? And that's couples dynamics. I mean, they look very, very different as compared to what happened in the past. But let's get into this. Across the continent, storytelling has always been a sacred tool. It preserves memory, question systems, and it gives voice to experiences that were once silenced. Our guest this morning is Lebohang Mlangeni, who's a South African writer, poet, and storyteller, born in Soweto and currently residing in Pretoria, the best place. 012, let's go. Passionate about humanitarian work and deeply committed to mental health advocacy. Her writing embodies Ubuntu and speaks powerfully to the LGBTQIA plus community. Her debut book, When I Dream in Color, love the title considering the topics, explores the journey of queer teenagehood, healing, resilience, and the courage to exist authentically. Lebohang.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's the early morning. Listen, I think we used it by now. We defrost very quickly.
Yeah.
So we make sure. But, for me, when I saw the different themes, I could relate. I think what I like is that it's a spectrum of themes, right? One thing we did as African young people is grow up in the lens of our parents and our elders. So when it was time for us to redefine what African youth was, it was definitely a challenge. Talk to me about pinning all of this down and, sitting yourself down and saying, I'm finally going to write this book. What was that experience like for you?
I feel like it wasn't a linear journey. It's also not something I just woke up one day and decided that, okay, today I'm going to publish a book. It took years of research, even though it isn't research that I penned down, but again, storytelling. So just sitting with people that have that are in the industry, going to writing workshops, going to book festivals, talking to people, just so I can know what I am getting into. I've always been a writer. I've always written for myself. It's always been a coping mechanism and something that I do for leisure as well.
Nice.
But also I want to use my writing to educate and leave people that read my stories with a question or a lesson. Or I just hope that by reading my book, it will be somewhat a life-changing experience. So yeah, I've always been a writer, and now we're here.
Now we're here. So off air, you spoke about your lecturer, giving you advice ahead of our conversation now. What did you study? Because I feel like for me, most of what we do in university kind of inspires, and our experiences in university also inspire, kind of that self-discovery, because it's the only place where we're like, okay, you get to decide who you want to be and become. So what did you study? I'm interested now.
So I did a Bachelor of Arts in BA General or Humanities, you'd say, majored in psychology and criminology. Then I did my honors in criminology.
Oh, okay. We're going to talk about the Mhlanga Commission after this. But let's get into the book first. So some of the themes, I mean, you speak about the LGBTQI community, plus community. And for some reason, my mind went to, on Monday, I was with Mama Sophie de Bruyn. And we all know that she's the last standing leader of the Women's March that happened in 1954. And I can't help but think, back then, what did queerness look like? We listen and read a lot about our African history that, there were soldiers that went to the war and women were the nurses and the prayer warriors. But there's no story about our queerness. Did that also inspire this, or what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on this is that's exactly why I write as well. And at first, obviously, because some of the stories, like I said, I've been writing since I was a teenager. But I felt like at the time, when I was 16, if someone attacked me about the person that I am, I would always just like see it as an attack, obviously. But I grew up not seeing, I love reading. I love reading, but I grew up not reading books that were written by queer people and that were for queer people. And I think one of the things that I love is the fact that the book is already doing its work, because some people that do give reviews, they do say that they love that the book really captures the essence of being queer. And I told like real queer stories. So that's what actually inspired me also to, write. Even though I was told before that, hey, but here, if you're going to market your book as a queer book for queer people, Kamo, you're black and you're a woman, are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to change who I am just so I can make other people happy. I think we are way past that point now. So yeah, I really just wanted to write a book for queer people, by me, obviously a queer person, something that we can relate to, because I feel like a lot of people also have been saying that whenever they see stories on TV, like it doesn't feel real. And I think most of that is because our stories are always told on our behalf. So I think, yeah, that is why I decided, you know what, let's go.
There's a statement you just mentioned now. You just said that you're not going to change who you are to accommodate people. And I find that statement so interesting because our parents didn't get an opportunity to say that. I feel like they were constantly, their futures were already preconceived. Their futures were already like laid out to say it's either you're going to be a nurse, a teacher, a doctor, lawyer, a housekeeper, whatever it is, right? And, they had to fit into what people said about them, especially when you think of Africans and African queer people who had to live in hiding, and who had to, kind of make peace or rather fit the heterosexual agenda because, it wasn't comfortable being queer back then. Now, I think one question that I see a lot on social media is, what is queerness? What is queerness today? I mean, even the word maybe 10 years ago, maybe that's too soon, maybe 15 years ago, it didn't hold the weight that it's holding now. So what would you say is queerness today? And I think the understanding will also help us, understand your experiences.
Firstly, I want to say that I do realize that I'm very privileged in a way to be able to say I've reached a point where I'm not going to change myself to impress other people, because it wasn't easy. I had to wait for me to be able to say that. But I think also one thing that helped me as someone that is queer is that I've passed a point where I want to be accepted by people, by society. I think that the best thing for me to do is to, let's respect one another. I don't need anyone's validation. I feel like the fact that I am here, I exist, I'm breathing is enough validation. And with the second part of your question, what is queerness? I feel like also there is a difference between being a member of the LGBTQI plus community and being queer. Being queer is a form of activism, actively trying to get out there to exist as a queer person and just, shake a little bit the norm, living outside of society's normal, but I think it took a lot for me to get here as well. Accepting myself as well was a journey on its own. But I think now I have reached a point where I can be queer and advocate for human rights using my writing, because that's also one of the things that I explore in my books. Because like I said, you will leave with lessons, questions, knowledge, I hope. Yeah. And nice quotes. And a banger playlist as well.
I saw there was a Yolanda Adams Open My Heart. I need to flip through more of the chapters to see, but I was like, oh, okay. It seems like it's going to fit into my playlist, yeah. But I want to also take it a step back, because I think what happens in our teenage years is so interesting in that there's something that is happening in your body, in your mind, in your soul, but you fight it, right? Because there's no support. I think the queer community today have a lot of space in order to, or a lot of capacity. Like, you know, the chances that the person next to you is queer is quite high, right? And I think that kind of gives them the sense of community. But I mean, back then, and judging, we were 1Ks, right? Like it was hard. It was hard, like discovering yourself. I mean, for me, some people are like, oh, choosing subjects was hard. I was like, yeah, I see choosing subjects, because I mean, look, I don't like geography, so I didn't take geography. But what if there's this feeling? How do you explain that? How do you explain the sense of, I feel like I don't fit in here, but I can't say why. I can't pinpoint why I don't fit in here. What is your experience navigating your identity as a teenager?
Oh, that is a lot. It's a very loaded question. My stories are affectionate, but also very much based on some of my lived experiences. And I will point to one story where the Yolanda Adams song comes from, Uhambo, the Journey. I think that story captures well what was going on in my mind at the time, because there was a lot of things I'm trying to figure out at the time. I'm trying to figure out who I am, my sexuality, what I want to do with my life. And that was a lot. It wasn't easy. People that were around me also didn't make it easy, which is something that I understand, because I think them being hesitant to accept Uti Lebohang is this type of person comes more of they fear the unknown. They don't know what's gonna happen to me, because like anything can happen. And like you said, also now we are in a space where it's not a big deal that you're queer. Like, you know, we bros. But back then it was like, yeah. I say back then, I'm old, but yeah.
1K.
But yeah, it was hard, because also I went to a very Christian school, and yeah, there were times where we were called into the office. I hear you're recruiting other kids to be lesbian and all of that. So imagine, on top of academics, and also you battling that, you know, that internal battle, the internal dialogue that you have with yourself, trying to figure out how am I going to navigate this path. Yeah. It was a lot. It wasn't easy. But like I said, things just became less challenging once I accepted myself. And yeah, I just stopped wanting to be accepted by other people. Respect me. I respect you. I don't see any reason why we cannot coexist.
Not you being in recruitment, child.
HR.
So let's talk about the chapters. I mean, there's Dancing with Shadows, there's The Pastor's Daughter, there's Malanga, A Time to Heal, Uhambo, The Journey. All of these chapters, you know, have names in between. There's one that says just maybe 3. It takes 2 to tango. So I feel like it was quite intentional that you name them this way. Talk to me about now putting a book together, because I feel like sometimes, I don't know if it's a writing thing, but do you ever have like the conclusion already before you even start, and you barely have a heading? Like, you don't have the heading, but you're like, guys, I know exactly how I want to end this thing.
Yeah, I think it's also funny that I admit to this because I used to judge people that would write the essay first and draw the mind map after. Like,
Yebo.
how does that even work? You know?
Yebo.
But yes, you are right. The way that I wrote the book was very intentional. So in the book, When I Dream in Color, there is 5 stories in there. Each story is in 3 parts. And I tell it in the point of view of the character, and I did it that way to give the reader the full experience. I just wanted to allow the person that is reading the book to fully immerse themselves in the story, because I feel like when you're reading a story, I did this and that, then it's easier for you to literally put yourself in that person's shoes. So in the book, I wanted the person that reads to be more than just someone that is reading the book. I wanted them to actually be part of the story.
I want us to take a short break. When we come back, I want us to get into the tea about maybe your favorite chapter. I know that you guys will be like, I love them all. No, you don't. There's that one where you're like, this is too relatable. It is 6:42 Central African time right here at the Oasis.
Ritmos e Cultura com Jacob Tivani.
Fiéis ouvintes do Ritmos e Cultura, hoje em linha com uma das grandezas da música moçambicana, porque não? Ele que é um dos kings da marrabenta, uma bermuda in the building.
É um prazer enorme estar a fazer parte deste programa. Deixe-me só saudar. Boa tarde a todos os ouvintes que me ouvem neste preciso momento. Meu nome é Uma Bermuda, de Alau Fanelo Estarapo, Gajo Aguda Canhela é Mabiscato. Eu vou saudar de uma maneira diferente. Ah, titavuya mwanango, tiduma tifika giane. Ah, titavuya mwanango, tiduma tifika giane. Ani motive lo ababa yena otiva mina haikonama. Ani motive lo anona yena otiva wahimbo watwa. Cá estou eu, irmão, para conversarmos, para falarmos um pouco de tudo. Estou aqui, estou aberto. Eu estou muito feliz porque é a primeira vez que eu falo nesta rádio, falo para os ouvintes, então estou muito feliz.
Ritmos e Cultura com Jacob Tivani. Todos os domingos, das 20 às 21 horas.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel África. Adivinha só, a Channel África quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel África está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Download the SABC app and take Channel Africa with you everywhere you go. This is the Oasis on Channel Africa with Ntsako Mhlanga.
Welcome back to it. Just 15 minutes to go before we head to the top of the hour. When I Dream in Color, penned down by Lebohang Mlangeni, who joins us in studio. So I know, because listen, we do this every week, chill. When I ask these questions, because I know as a fellow creative, yes, we love all the chapters that we've put in. Yes, we love all the work that we've done. But there's always that one that just stands out. There's always that one that you resonate with the most. Perhaps it's the one that you wrote in your deepest, point of self-identity and self-discovery, or it is when you resonated with the most. What is your favorite chapter in this book?
I just want to reiterate, all of them are my favorites. All of them are indeed my favorites.
Yes.
But I think Uhambo the journey has to be the one that I resonate with the most. I think also, even though the story that I wrote there is a lived experience of some sort, but there's fiction also in there. But yeah, the point is, I feel like that specific timeline I captured so beautifully because it was almost as if like it's a recurring thing in my life. So it was easy for me to write Uhambo, the journey, because even now I'm basically still on a journey to self-discovery. I think it's a journey that just it never ends. So yes, I think Uhambo, the journey is my baby.
I see why. Because you even writing from a place of, you telling me, I'm just reading through here that you're in your room, you're blasting a particular song. And even while busy with this, a poem just popped up. Dear dreamer, dear dreamer. And for me, I think like that is really like the pinnacle of creativity, because not only are you penning this down, but then also you're that creative that you went a second layer. It's kind of like that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. What is it called? The one where he goes into multiple dreams. I forgot the movie. What is it called? It's not Shutter Island. There's a particular movie, Leonardo DiCaprio, where he goes into multiple dreams. What is it called? Go by now, help me. We forgot the name. But like, it's basically kind of like going to different levels of yourself, because even reading through this poem, I mean, it's just beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm going through it and I'm like, dude, you really hit parts of your heart that, and it's not easy. It's not easy to be this vulnerable. It's not easy to be this open about the journey. And looking at 2026, I know Mercury's in the microwave and Saturn return and Pisces placements. I don't know if you're Pisces, but we're going through the trenches. What does this year look like for you? Like, what does the journey look like? Because that's the nice thing about journeys, that we never put destinations on them. So what does this year look like for you?
Honestly speaking, that question, as someone that always has a plan, it's making me crash out because I feel like I've always been that person. I have to smash academic goals. I have to do this by this time. I have to do this by that time. But also, it's also just like timelines that I set for myself, because also I acknowledge that the person that I am competing with is the person that I see every time I look on the mirror. But I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. I feel like sometimes like it happens where the journey, you have to stop by that garage to grab a pie and a cool drink or something,
Yeah.
And
I think that is to just say that for the first time in my life, in a very long time, I am really just allowing life to happen and see where it takes me. I went to school, I got my degrees, I've written the book, and yeah, now I am really just, wherever life takes me, I will go. Which is why when they said, Lebohang, come for an interview, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to think about this. I'm not prepared. Let's go.
I love that.
So I'm just really trying to adopt the mindset where anywhere where life takes me, as long as it aligns with my goals and the person that I am, then why you are.
The year of yes, essentially. The movie is called Inception, by the way. God, that was bothering me. That was really bothering my spirit. And where can we find you on social media so we can just support you? Like, I'm a fan of supporting African work, especially stories about this. How many people are queer in their homes quietly? How many people are sitting at home or navigating life, with all these feelings and emotions and, their views on their identity, and they don't have something to relate to. So we wouldn't want to just read one book and just be like, okay, it's chai. We want to kind of follow your journey in case book number 2 is coming up.
Yeah, it's definitely coming up.
Period. Where can we find you on social media?
Social media, Ntsako _25, or just search Lebohang Mlangeni. My poetry and my creator's account and my personal account are separate. But on Instagram, if you type Lebohang Mlangeni, it should probably be one of the things to pop up. I also do have a website that you can check out. So www.mlangeni.org, and there it will just tell you a little bit about me, the book, and also take you through to my email. There's a thingy that you can press there. You can send me an email. And then I'm also on TikTok, Lebohang Mlangeni.
And where can we find the book?
The writer. The book is available on Takealot, Amazon, KDP, and Draft 2 Digital. So I do cater to for people that read ebooks. And then you can also just order it on Takealot. Like I said, when you go to the website, just click there, buy, and then you'll find it on Takealot. Alternatively, just Google When I Dream in Color by Lebohang Mlangeni, Lebohang with an H, then you will find it there. Number one, that I'm sure of.
No, I really appreciate the work that you're doing, man. And you know, if we didn't experience it in our generation, at least the next one must be set up for success, you know? So thank you so much for giving us your time today. And I'm really hoping that you don't feel like too...
Thank you for giving me the platform. This is my very first radio interview, by the way. So
write that down in your next book. Okay, so when I was on Channel Africa for the very first time.
No, definitely. I will be writing in my journal today. But thank you so much.
And to many more, honestly, many more of that, because I feel like this story is so important for our generation. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
It is 6:53 Central African time right here on the Oasis.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802.